What's going on, guys? We are breaking down Amanda's workout. We're going to start doing these, hopefully give you guys some insight on what we're looking for in videos, why videos are important to us, especially for remote clients, some of the takeaways that we can get to incorporate what we're seeing into your training, and just to hopefully give you guys a better understanding of um, how the sport works, some different pacing strategies, hopefully build your guys' knowledge base around the sport, give you guys a little bit better capacity and ability to push inside of workouts, or strategize workouts better. I think this is going to be pretty valuable for people to just get the ins and outs of what we're seeing in workouts to help progress them throughout the course of their career. So, a little bit of background on this workout. It is 12-9-6 thrusters at 95 pounds for girls, 135 for guys, and bar muscle ups. This was the back end of a workout called Fantasyland. It was done at the 2014 games for teams. Pretty cool workout. You had one individual do Fran, then you had an individual do chest bar Fran with lower reps, heavier weight, and then you had an individual do uh, bar muscle up Fran with lower weights again, or sorry, heavier weights and lower reps. That was girls go first, then guys. Cool thing was you were doing this off the back of a big bob when you had 6 people pushing the sled. So you had people literally doing pull-ups off the back of a sled in 2016. So it's pretty fun to watch. You could do a lot of fun stuff with teams back then. But we've been working on developing Amanda's barbell to upper pulling capacity in general, just her pulling capacity. That's kind of a limitation that she has in the sport. We kind of tend to see that when you have a limitation in the sport, it's kind of a limitation for an extended period of time in the sport. So you kind of almost always have to spend time working on it. Maybe it's not the focus of your cycle or the focus of your training, but it's always in your training. So this is something that is kind of always in Amanda's training. We're actually putting a little bit more of a focus on it right now, is not so much the capacity of upper body pulling, but this barbell into upper pulling. So we decided to test her Fantasyland today. This was actually the start of a deload, so she's still a little bit fatigued today, and you guys will kind of see that in the video. We had a pretty tough training session on Saturday for the teams. She is also a team athlete training for Granite Games. So normally you kind of have some work to rest ratio, but last year Granite Games threw in a workout that had barbell and then upper body pulling complex. So 4 to 6 minute time range inside of that workout. Figured this would be a good one to test, kind of see where that's at, maybe develop some protocols off of that. And we'll kind of chat about some protocols that we might end up seeing for her in the future. So I think that covers everything. So some of the strategy that she tried to use on this was the week before we had found out that if she's pausing at the top of the reps, she can actually go a little bit deeper into sets. She had a tendency to kind of drop down real quick after she had hit lockout and do her reps fast. She's a little bit more powerful athlete, which makes sense. Also a team background, so it makes sense to do those reps faster. But with this, we found she's able to hold on for longer sets if she kind of pauses at the top. So her strategy today was not to break the thrusters and just kind of pause at the top of the rep on her bar muscle ups, see what that did for her capacity. There's some fatigue that was leading into this week, so I think we didn't get a true quality test of that, but there are some takeaways that we can have from this video that we can apply into training in the future here. So we'll get started here. Should rewind this. So it starts off with those 12 thrusters. You can see she kind of moves that barbell real well. She is a very strong athlete, so this 95-pound bar can honestly look like 65 pounds for some ladies here. So she moves this a little fast, though. I think if we were to do this workout again, we'd actually have her slow this down. If we were going for best score possible, we would also have her break up the reps. So The speed, I think, actually jacks her heart rate up pretty high, and why you'll kind of see an extended rest period here. Ideally, what we're getting an individual to do is whenever they come off that first set of thrusters, like they've only done 12, they're able to jump up on that bar right away and start knocking out bar muscle ups. Not the case here. Obviously, there was some fatigue factors going on that I need to have a conversation with her about. But she does an excellent job of hitting a bigger set of bar muscle ups and pausing there at the top of her reps, which is something that we talked about doing and that she wanted to do. So she executed that really, really well in this workout. The other thing is you can see she's getting a pretty good drive in her backswing, which means her chest is coming forward a little bit more. You actually see it on these next sets here a little bit better. But one thing we're also working on is developing her hollow body and arch positions on her bar muscle ups to allow her to drive a little bit more power into those reps. So you'll see it here, big open chest allows her to swing up to the top of the bar a little bit easier. One reason we're working on those hollow body positions is she has a tendency to mute her hips a little bit in her reps. So we're trying to develop that capacity in her workouts. So she had some skill components prior to this, and these do look a little bit better than previous muscle ups. So there's another kind of win for the workout there. I think she was just taught to try and drive those knees up to the bar for her bar muscle ups, or that's kind of how she learned them. So we're trying to kind of rework that and rewire that. She picks up skills pretty quick, so we're able to work on some skill stuff in the season and use that as some of her easier training. And it transfers over pretty well into some of her workouts. Doesn't really decrease from her capacity at all. For her specifically, especially in upper pulling movements, any skill change is going to lead to a capacity increase for her. Just because her barrier to entry was pretty low on that when we started. There was a lot that we could fix on the bar muscle ups and ring muscle ups. So things have been improving a lot in that sense. But yeah, again, we kind of see a lot of rest after that thruster into the bar muscle up. So again, we're kind of wanting to be able to get up on that bar and hit sets a little bit faster on her bar muscle up. So kind of a training piece that we can take away from this, guys, is so she's having issues with high respiration rates and high heart rate coming off that thruster. So what we can do is we can take that concept and that idea and elicit that fatigue response with some sort of cyclical machine. So we're not putting in a bunch of volume. So something like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off on an assault bike for 4 to 5 sets. And then directly after her last working set, we'd negate that 30 seconds rest and have her go right into two rounds of 3 thrusters, 3 bar muscle ups. 3 is about what we would want to have her hold on bar muscle up sets. 3 thrusters isn't going to fatigue her too much, but it is going to give her that sports stimulus of wanting to get jacking up the heart rate a little bit more, kind of time under tension, a little bit more fatigue, and that sports stimulus of back and forth between the two, a little bit of transition. And we can get creative with that as well. It doesn't have to be thrusters. Like we can do with her specifically, we can do stuff like power snatches, chest to bar, something along those lines. But what the idea is create that physiological fatigue and then create sport specific section where she's learning to kind of move with that fatigue, teach her body how to move with that physiological fatigue. And that should start to develop her ability to move sets faster on things like her limitation in this workout, which was the bar muscle ups or the upper body pulling component of it. The other thing that we can look at doing, because she is a team athlete, is give her a little bit longer duration on the assault bike, maybe like 60 to 90 seconds at 10-minute pace or around 10-minute pace, maybe slightly faster, slightly slower. into 5 thrusters into MRAP -1 bar muscle up. So what this is doing is it's really getting the heart rate up there, teaching her to hit a little bit bigger set of pull-ups, which is something that you do have to do for team, and it will start to push the pace of her bigger sets inside of workouts. So kind of touching that top end intensity. So where like a set of 6 on her first round wouldn't destroy her entirely. And it would teach her how to recover a little bit quicker, especially if we put a little bit shorter rest periods on those. Uh, get her to move a little bit quicker when we give her a workout and have her hold sets of something like 3. Um, so those are some training concepts that we can kind of pull away from this workout and look to give her going forward in this workout, or for her training specifically for this kind of implementation, but or sport specific. So, but she did a great job sticking to her game plan on these, pausing at the top of the rep. It was something new that we were trying to try. I wanted to see what would happen with the thrusters going unbroken. So we got some data there, but wasn't, there was definitely some fatigue from previous days training coming into this one. So wasn't an all out test, but it was a pretty good indicator to pull some things away from. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of insight into kind of what we do workout wise, how we use your program to or your guys' results to implement training into your program. Gives you guys a little bit more insight into the sport a little bit, different athlete style, and hopefully you guys can have some good pullaways and takeaways from this video. So if you guys like this, please like, subscribe to our channel, and we will catch you guys next time here.